All right, here's some mill. Our opponent is, our opponent sent us a nice message. He probably thinks we're playing Merfolk. We do have to mulligan though. I don't think it'll be embarrassing, man. Embarrassing for me, maybe. I do have to mulligan this one. It's a keeper though. Crypt Incursion in the dark. I have absolutely no idea, but I'm gonna say no just because we don't even have the mana to cast it right now. Wonder what he's playing. Sulfur Falls. Scribe, okay. What do we hit on the hideaway? Ooh, it's a nice one. So he's just playing Storm or something? I have no idea what this means, except that we're going to load his graveyard up for Passing Flames. Could be anything, I guess, but it might be Storm. You know, I guess Surgical is very good here. If we get it, that's for sure. Do we have time to just orb him? I guess so. Just learned the dangers of F6ing with this deck, by the way. Missed our archive trap on his turn. I'm sure we'll get another opportunity, but will be no more F6ing through his turn. He is in fact playing Storm. God, we really might not get another opportunity to archive trap him. Clicking through his turn there might have been pretty bad. Do not F6. Lesson learned. Okay, paid off. I have no idea what this matchup is like for us. It's probably not good. Just going off now. It's Pyromancer Cinch is so easy to turn on, and his passive flames are going to be so good. And like I said, we have to mill him. That's what we do. I don't think this Manic Scribe is worth it. We're at 2 card types. The Orb gets 2. I guess the Scribe gets 3. Sure. We'll play the Scribe. I'm going to play the... Yeah, I'll play the Scribe, I guess. Hits him for 3. We're going to go up to 3 on our turn. I mean, the orb only gets 2, this gets 3 this turn, and then we should have it active by our next turn. So this seems fine. I mean, we might just be dead, but... So we're going to respond to this. Maybe he won't have lands. Oh, it doesn't actually work because he hasn't searched yet, right? Yeah. Don't get it. Super get him, but... Importantly, we have not clicked through the incept this time. Yep. It just seems so impossible to beat. Okay, we're almost surely dead. Why? I don't understand. I had to stop. I should have got priority after that resolved. Did I have to have a stop? Do I not understand Magic Online? I thought I should have priority there. Because there were things being done in the instep, we should have both got priority in the instep. Okay, just... I'm going to keep not understanding Magic on... Keep making Magic Online centric mistakes and have it work anyways. Alright, so... I have to Vision and Beyond, I think, before this resolves. And try to hit Surgical to get the Pass and Flames. Given that we did not do that, we're probably dead. If we'd hit Surgical there, we could have got Passive Flames. It would have made it a lot more difficult for him to win, though not impossible. It's almost no chance we are not dead now, though. Definitely boarding in the ley lines. And boarding out the Crypt Incursions. Actually, we have a lot of cards to wreck his graveyard post-board, as we have those extirpates as well, so... Did not get game... It's you know, as beneficial to Storm as milling them in game 1 is. We have a lot of hate cards for him in game 2. I don't know how I feel about this mill deck after a couple games. It's when it against the right decks, it feels great, but I mean, we just handed our Storm opponent all the Ascension triggers he could possibly hope for. Like, I'm just dead, right? There's no reason to even play this out. He's got the Passive Flames. He's got the mana for it. He's got a loaded up graveyard. I'm not gonna waste our time here. I would like all of the hate. Give it all to me. Give me all your hate. Board in even a couple of these maybe. So that we can hit the Pyromancer. In theory it might work. This, I don't know if Orb is something you just don't ever board out or what. I mean, maybe Scry. Orb just doesn't seem great against him because we basically are almost playing yeah, that's fine. I'm trying to think because we're basically almost playing a hateful game if we just, go all in on this. And against a Storm deck, I actually think it's a pretty reasonable strategy to just play all this graveyard hate. In addition, cards that just wreck them. And I don't know if Orb necessarily plays into that because it's sort of the grindier thing. Whereas Scribe just hits them, and though we're less likely to have Delirium for our Scribe by getting rid of our Mesmeric Orbs. The important this hits them immediately on turn 2, whereas for 3, whereas this only hits them for probably 1 or 2. But that might actually, that might be untrue. I don't know. Maybe these set of drifts aren't actually good because we're planning on breaking his graveyard. I'd buy that. Sure. This seems fine. I wonder if this is a card you can cut. Probably not. Is we can just hopefully just tear apart his deck and his hand and his library and with these extirpates and surgicals. Well, I guess that's a thing. Keep it. Pretty reasonable hand here. No archive traps for me to click through Moto with. I'll hit the visions. As much as I want to sort of take the extirpate there, I think that's going to be what we're doing. We will be glimpsing him and then surgicaling him next turn. What would be really ideal is if we surgical a Ascension. And then we get untap after that into a Mind Funeral, which is pretty good as well. Alright, I mean, this is dangerous because it gives him a graveyard, but the upside is pretty good for us like that. We can hit the Ascension here. Did it. Make sure I click on everything this time. Let's see what he boarded in. Defense Grid. That doesn't really matter that much to me. He does have the Empty the Warrens, so he does have outs. I mean, he can also just Storm without it, especially since, sure, his hand is lands, Ravings, Grid Ritual, none of that matters much. Alright, this seems fine for us. The danger is that he just goes off with Passive Flames, which is a real danger. But I mean, you have to hit the Ascension. That's the easiest thing for him to go off with. More lands for us is not good, though. We need to get him down to activate this, so okay. Hopefully we hit a big one here and get him to 20 cards in the graveyard, or 20 cards in a library, so we can activate our visions from the shell dock. That's not bad. More Passing Flames in his graveyard is actually good. This is probably all the Passing Flames in the deck. I mean, it's not like I wrote it down or anything, but I don't think they play 4. It's probably just 3. So baseline is just going to cost 1 more for him to start off here. And he's down to 24 in his library. Hell, I might Ghost Quarter to take one out if he, slide in Serum Visions or something weird like that here. We've certainly drawn a lot of land. 6 of them. No, it's not getting anything out of his deck. He's got the... Okay, I guess he's just not doing much. That'll work. Hit the Steam Vents, I guess. I may as well hit the untapped one for reasons. He has 3 mana either way if he wants it, I suppose, but... This makes him decide now. See if he goes for it. He did, in fact, search his library, so let's get him. Now we get to cast our card. Draw 3. And finish him off with the Archive Trap. That was actually pretty sick. That was actually a pretty sick way to end that game. Yeah, sent us a message. Yeah, I agree. It was nice. That was pretty good. All right, we have one. Let's see if we can get him in game 3. I like our boarding plan. I mean, just being able to nuke that Ascension was very good. Vision Beyond's insane. Card's very... I mean, I guess the same Special Recall is obviously insane, but... I wonder if he changes anything up. I honestly don't know if you're a Storm player, if there's anything you can change up. You just sort of have to, go off on us and hope that we don't wreck you too hard. This hand is a keeper, I guess. We're on the draw. This hand's not great, to be honest. I mean, it's Shelldock Isle into... You too, man. Shelldock Isle, but we can't cast the Extirpate or the Funeral without Ghost Quartering ourselves. Now he knows about it. Not F16, so we can get this trap off if need be. It's already sick, for what it's worth. Alright, confirmed not getting him. It's a pretty solid draw, though. I think I actually play this and play the crab. It makes everything from here on out better. We can play the Shelldock Isle next turn. And then the Ghost Quarter after that, so we can Ghost Quarter to get a swamp if we need Extirpate. But this is the most efficient. Oh, I see. Hey, that's true. His hand's just got to be gas then. Orb does nothing. Scribe doesn't do that much. We have to play this tab at some point though, so maybe we're supposed to Orb. I'm gonna Orb then Scribe next turn. I think this is the most efficient in the long run. Or we might just Extirpate that Pyromancer's Ascension. This is actually really difficult. I really want to Extirpate the Ascension because that's how he's going to beat us, is with an Ascension in all likelihood. On the other hand, we have one swamp after that. Next turn we play a tapped Shelldock Isle. And basically do nothing for that turn and can't do anything until we untap again. We get a bunch of Hedron Crab triggers in there, and that's a real thing. However, we also have to add in the fact we know he doesn't have a land. So he has to rip a red source off the top to cast an Ascension. I think that he's got to have an Ascension. He's got to have a good hand if he kept a one-lander and a probe. So I think it's worth setting ourselves back a turn. And if we draw a land off the top, we're not even really set back. But I think it's worth setting ourselves back a turn to remove this from his deck, which is the best card he has. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just making sure because I have to use, if this was surgical, we'd be able to do everything we wanted. But because it's not, just have to completely wreck ourselves here. Surgical, confirmed better than extirpate. That's the other reason, by the way, we went with the island on turn 1, was so if we do end up ghost courting to extirpate like we did, I don't have to hit my Shelldock out to do it. Split second. Yep, as expected, he had one in there. I mean, I'm not surprised that his, exactly what I thought. Now, do I have to click anything in here? Maybe not. Okay. So he's got Passive Flames, Double Manamorphose, Ritual, Electromancer. I mean, Electromancer is the other way we lose here, so. But, I mean, we need to get the extirpate out, and we've done that. Or get the Ascension. All right, message sent. So he did not hit the land. Okay, that's obviously good for us, but we're still a ways from doing anything ourselves, as it turns out. I guess we'll get the scribe. Okay, well, we can't do anything this turn except attack. But next turn, we can scribe him. Yeah, well, there's the land, so we can do a lot, actually. Can we even hit 20? Might even be able to get him up to 20. I think he's probably pretty dead here. I can get the scribe in there. Is it worth milling myself? Probably not. We'd have to hit creature. Yeah, we're going to have to hit things we're not going to hit, so. There, we can do that. This one would put him to 17, so we cannot go off with the Visions of Beyond. I might just cycle it anyways. Maybe that doesn't matter, though. I say, like, in theory, you could just cycle it and hit another card, but doesn't really matter. I mean, the worst is if he doesn't draw land off of this and he puts land on top of his deck and then it gets milled away. Oops. Bottom, yeah. All right, so we could, sure, I'll do this so that I can draw later, at the end of his turn. I mean, it's just over. Obviously, our opponent got mana screwed, but. And obviously, this is the best one we've had. Just went off. He's got 11 cards. Unfortunately, did not did not search. So, yeah, sorry, man. All right, well, there you go. That'll do it. Mill got there. We untap. Yep. This and the scribe will do it. Yeah, good game. I guess. I mean, it was a good match. You see how we can certainly win the matchup, even though obviously in this case, our opponent just got mana screwed in game 3, but Mill doing its thing.